Hey there, folks. Welcome back to the Overflow. My name is Micah Curtis.
I'm Alex Baldwin, and I'm on camera for once.
Yes! And we do apologize for the delay once again in the Overflow. Reason being is I was frozen, pretty much. It was so cold in Illinois that I would come home from work and literally dive underneath the covers of my bed and, like, pile on 4 blankets. It was freezing out here, and it sucked. But over the weekend, we had like 50-degree weather, so it all melted. So that's nice.
That's pretty great. About to say, it's like 60 here, and
Yeah.
the other day it was below freezing.
Yep.
So it's just very weird. But then again, North Carolina, you can have freezing cold weather in the morning and like summer temperatures in the afternoon. It's very odd.
Yeah. Also, another thing interesting, my beard has gotten, or my chin hair has gotten long enough to where I can just stick a comb in it and leave it there. Though I have to comb it or it actually does get raggedy.
Fair.
So, yeah. So I'm so as an apology, I'm going to stick this in my beard for a little bit so people can laugh at it.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
I made a joke with my friend that I can't grow my hair out very well anymore because it's really thin on top now. So I'm like, instead of like growing out my hair and head banging, I'm going to grow out my chin hair and beard bang instead. So...
Be a Viking, why not?
Yeah, why the hell not? All right, so let's go ahead and get started. As always, Hatman, I let you pick politics or entertainment to start.
Oh, do I have a coin I can flip?
I don't know.
Nope, I don't think I do.
I think I do though. So, do you want me to flip the coin?
Yeah, flip a coin. Heads for entertainment, tails for politics.
Got it. Heads.
All right, entertainment first.
All right, so let's start with 2 weeks ago's questions. So Autist Whisperer leads us off. He asks, seeing as Resident Evil 3 Remake is probably happening, what would you keep in the game and what would you change in the game? The pacing would be the big change I would make.
Yes.
That was always the biggest issue, is it kind of was too sandboxy in a way. Or else you could just go full sandbox. Either one of the other. It was this weird attempt at a happy medium that just didn't work. Because you had a pretty open Raccoon City you could explore, but to proceed, you would have to get an item, and then you have to go all the way across town to use it. But then when you used it, there was something else you had to use, so you had to go all the way in a different direction, and it constantly did that to you. And it really made it feel like constant fetch quests. And then you have Nemesis chasing you the entire time. Mm-hmm. I am of the opinion... What I would rather do is I would rather have just like a chunk of town you can explore and you can do whatever the fuck you want in it. And it gives you plenty of ammo and it's basically just like a straight up action game with zombies and Nemesis that you have to fight off on occasion, which would be really frightening. Or you go the route that they did with RE2... You kind of close it down, make it a little bit more linear, make it so that there's a lot less going back and forth across long distances, and you pace it just a little bit better. And that would be my way of doing things, because the other elements of the game are really cool, because the gunpowder mechanic that is in 2 Remake is originally from 3. And I always loved that idea, because you could literally play however you want. You know, when I've been playing through, I have basically beaten the fuck out of Resident Evil 2 Remake. I've beaten every single campaign on medium difficulty. I'm not going to try hardest yet. If I do, it'll be on the Leon campaigns. Or, I mean, on the Claire campaigns, because her weaponry is honestly better. But, anyway, you know, like, that gives you a lot of variety. You know, Jill always has a fucking arsenal in that game. You know, you keep the gore physics from this. That would be really, that would be really cool. One thing I would change also from Remake 2 to Remake 3, I would put a hard cap on how many headshots it takes to kill a zombie. Because that's one thing that kind of annoys me about it, is that I put 4 bullets in this thing's skull and it's still coming at me.
Yeah.
I think that there needs to be like a hard cap there. You know, because like 2 or 3 shots, like I'm perfectly fine with a headshot like you shoot them in the jaw and it doesn't kill them. But I would rather have, like, maybe you can disable part of the face if you're going to leave it the same way. Like, you can shoot their jaw off and they can't bite you anymore.
Yeah.
You know, pull a Michonne from Walking Dead. Like, that sort of thing would be something I would change around a little bit. But I'm really looking forward to it. Like, I'm hoping that it doesn't take as long as this one did, because this last one took 3 years. But then it also took them forever to get it greenlit. The remake was in development hell for a long time until 7 came out. And when 7 was as successful as it was, they're like, oh, fuck yeah, we're doing this. This is the right time to do it. So, but the cool thing about it, at least for me, and I'll let Hatman say his piece, is they have effectively revitalized the franchise with 2 games. And it's exciting to see, because I love Resident Evil. I really do. Hatman, what do you think? What would you like changed in 3?
I think you really just hit the nail on the head. As far as, like, Nemesis chasing you the entire time, for me, like, I prefer more of, like, some scripted moments, because, like you said, the open world, I think, would be kind of necessary for it. And just having, like, then again, I don't know. I'm the kind of guy that didn't like Majora's Mask because I didn't like feeling limited by it.
Mm-hmm.
That makes any sense whatsoever. So, you know, having a constant, all right, you got, you know, someone fucking watching you the entire time, someone following you, as opposed to, like, some scripted moments like in, say, Metroid Fusion, which ironically is a lot more linear than other Metroid games, where, like, there are moments where you cannot avoid, you have to run. And I know Resident Evil 3 does have those moments.
Yeah, it does.
I kind of don't like the constant threat of, if you hang around here for too long, if you explore, like, the wrong places, you're basically setting yourself up. And I know that kind of takes away from the whole point of Nemesis, but at the same time, why have an open world game, or even just an open game like that otherwise? I'm strange. It's just my play style.
Well,
really.
One thing that I kind of felt like the original game did well was you could shake him. You could run far enough away from him where he would stop pursuit. And that I think that you would need to maintain. Because that was one thing that kind of annoyed me about Mr. X from the most recent game, is he literally follows you everywhere. Yeah. In the police station once he shows up. And you can't get away from him.
I kind of feel like that's what they would do. Because
yeah, and I wouldn't want them to do that, because Nemesis is a scarier enemy than Mr. X. He's smaller, because Mr. X is 10 feet tall. Nemesis is 8 feet, or 7.5, 8 feet tall. So, well, yeah, so he's supposed to be, I think he's supposed to be as tall as Shaquille O'Neal or something like that. Very tall, but not, like, obscenely tall.
Mm-hmm.
But he's faster. And that in and of itself is much more frightening, in my opinion. Because the fact that he can bound after you with a rocket launcher on his arm, that's frightening.
And to take a line from Schwarzenegger, he is one
ugly motherfucker. Yeah. Because he is one of the best video game bosses of all time. Like, I would say top 5.
He's up there. He's certainly up there.
Like, easily, I think he and Pyramid Head are probably the 2 most iconic survival horror enemies ever.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to argue otherwise.
You know, it'd be like, and the odd thing is like a lot of other, it's like, the funniest thing to me, it's like the most iconic are probably just from Resident Evil and Silent Hill. You know, because you've got the nurses from 1 and Pyramid Head from 2, and then you've got Nemesis, then you've got Birkin and Wesker. So, alright, so let's move on to the next one. Another question that's actually sort of related to that. With the inevitable success of Resident Evil 2, what do we think the chances of a remake of Dino Crisis is at this point? Slim to none. It wasn't that popular when it came out.
Yeah, we talked about it, touched on it on the podcast. Unless like Jurassic Park or Jurassic World or whatever gets huge again, and with the success to the last. Well, not. I don't even know if you could call it success because it kind of like just died out after a while.
Mm-hmm.
But unless there's like some more runaway dinosaur stuff, like you're not going to see Dino Crisis, you're not going to see Turok again.
No, which is unfortunate because Turok is awesome.
Yeah, well, like we said too, they tried a reboot of Turok like 10 years ago and it didn't work out too well.
It was really bad.
Yeah,
not even Ron Perlman could save it, and that's saying something. Because yeah, people forget Ron Perlman was in that fucking game, and he phoned it in, but no, I would say that right now, there are going to be companies who have survival horror IPs that are going to be re-examining themselves. I would think that Square Enix might be looking at Parasite Eve again, and Konami right now are fucking kicking themselves for destroying the Silent Hills project.
Yeah. Had they beat Resident Evil 7 to market there,
Silent Hill would be where Resident Evil is right now.
Yeah.
Kojima, from what I have, the rumors were that Kojima had a brilliant script for it, and that Norman Reedus signed on to the project after reading it.
Imagine Silent Hills being like what Resident Evil 7 was, and then a remake of Silent Hill 2 to what the remake of Resident Evil 2 was.
Yeah.
Just imagine that. Konami would not have the shit reputation that it has today.
It wouldn't surprise me if they re-examined doing it. Not Silent Hills, but maybe a remake of Silent Hill 2 and contracting out a high-end developer for it.
I don't know that I would trust them at this point.
I don't know if I would either, but it wouldn't surprise me if they do.
I think the bridge has been pretty much nuked at this point.
Well, yeah, say Metal Gear Survive really, even though I hear it wasn't that bad of a game, really destroyed a lot of good faith.
Yeah.
So I think that they're probably going to re-examine it, but yeah, it might be too little, too late for them. I think they're gonna, if they re-examine it, that and Castlevania, I think, would be ones that they would probably re-examine at this point because survival horror is going to get big again because of this, because of Resident Evil 2, and then on top of that, the Castlevania series has renewed people's interest in the Castlevania franchise. Mm-hmm. So,
yeah, not to mention Simon and Richter Belmont and Smash too.
Yeah, exactly. Let's continue on. Speaking of Castlevania, oddly enough, Swordsman 100 asks thoughts on Castlevania Season 2 making Sypha an enemy of God instead of a member of the Church, and the castle not a creature of chaos. Well, I wouldn't say she was an enemy of God. I would say that.
Seen it yet.
You haven't seen it?
I haven't seen Season 2 yet. No.
Hatman.
At the time, I hadn't had the time.
Oh my!
I mean, I will now, but
everyone shame Hatman. Like, I'm going to come up with a shame button for you. I swear.
Just pull the bit from Game of Thrones. Shame, shame, shame. Ding ding.
Oh, jeez. But anyway, but I never got the impression that she was an enemy of God. I got the impression that the Church didn't like her group of traveling magicians, whatever they were called. I completely forget. But I wouldn't say that she was an enemy of God. I think that she was an enemy of the super corrupt Church. I mean, you got to keep in mind what the demons said to that cardinal in the show, and that was, by the way, that was a great speech from Fred Tatrascore in that last episode of. Well, actually, was that the last episode of season 1, or was it the second to last episode?
It was one or the other. It was towards the end of it. I think it was the last episode. I think it was the beginning of the last episode.
Yeah, because he's like, "Your God does not love you," and I'm like, "Oh, that is such a chilling line." So. But yeah, I don't think that was the case. But no, I actually preferred, I liked the dynamic. I don't mind. Of all the people in the world, I am the last person you're going to see complain about somebody basically using the Catholic Church as a bad guy. You got to keep in mind, I'm not Catholic for a reason. I am a Christian. I am not a Catholic. I will never be a Catholic. in the same way I'll never be a young Earth creationist. It will never happen. And the castle not being a creature of chaos, well, it's been different things. I mean, the mechanical aspects were a big part of the early games. That's why the clock tower level is such a meme at this point. Like, it wasn't really... It didn't come across as sentient to me until much later. I think Symphony was the first game to really do that. I might be misremembering.
No, well...
Or it might be one of the Symphony clones afterwards.
Probably.
Because it didn't really come across like a living being to me until then. It always seemed like a machine.
Symphony was weird because the reverse castle was... It didn't feel like a living sort of entity either.
No, it just felt like Dracula's magic was doing something.
Yeah, it really did.
So, but then again, I'm going to be honest. I'm not the biggest fan of Symphony. I love its soundtrack. Don't get me wrong. The soundtrack is awesome. But I never got into it like other people. I think it's because I'm just such a big fan of 4. Which is a remake of 1, but still.
Yeah.
4 has the best soundtrack.
Not even the Richter campaign of Symphony?
Oh, I love Richter. Yeah, I love that part. That's fun. But then I'm such a Belmont fanboy.
Yeah.
So.
Because that feels more like traditional Castlevania, even though it's hard as fuck.
Oh, it wasn't that bad. I got used to Richter's maneuvers, though.
No, that's the thing. If you're not used to them, it's just so weird on the fucking button presses. That's the only thing.
Yeah.
I wish it was just easier to maneuver. I probably wouldn't complain so much if his moves were mapped better. But it almost feels like you're trying to play a fighting game.
Yeah, pretty much.
All the time, and it didn't work too well for me. It just adds another layer of difficulty, which, I mean, it's already hard enough as it is. Like, it's at least on the level of Castlevania 4.
Yeah.
So.
Hardboiled Entertainment asks, who would we cast in a Resident Evil movie? I wouldn't. I would not make Resident Evil a movie. There's very few video games I would turn into films. I would rather them be television shows.
That's a good option. I was going to say, just keep with the fucking animated movies. The animated ones have been good so far.
And yeah, they're okay. But they're not, like, mind-blowingly good or anything like that.
Live action is...
But no, like, I could never really turn that into a film. I don't think I could ever want it to be a film. As for casting, I couldn't tell you just because I'm not plugged into, like, a lot of the younger talent. Because if you're going to start a Resident Evil story, you have to keep in mind it's been the same characters since the 90s. You have to start these actors young and then move them forward. The only person that I could think that I would, like, be kind of, or who I would be interested in, like, I would peg as one guy who would be good at a certain role is the guy who plays Sir Davos Seaworth in Game of Thrones playing Barry. I think he could pull it off. I mean, other than that, I can't really think of much else. I don't know who I would cast as everyone else.
I'd have a weird choice in Carl Urban as Albert Wesker.
That wouldn't be too bad. Carl doesn't seem to age.
Not really. But I could see him doing that, especially after Dread.
Yeah, he could definitely he could pull off Wesker, I think. Chris is the hardest one.
Yeah.
Because he's got to be a guy that would be willing to bulk up progressively as it goes on.
Significantly bulk up. Especially between fucking 1 and 5. Jesus.
Yeah. And then for Jill, the girl who played her in the movies, oddly enough, was the spitting image of her, even in body type. Which shocked the fuck out of me. But she's not that great of an actress. So, I would want it to be acted well. And the only, like, and Rebecca, the girl who plays Arya in Game of Thrones, you give her a short-haired haircut and she's the spitting image. But that's about all I could really think of, really. Well, actually, if we're going with Game of Thrones actors, the guy who played Oberyn Tyrell. I mean, not Tyrell. Oberyn Martell would be pretty good as was it Oscar in 3?
Sounds about right.
Oscar or Louise, I can't remember. But yeah, he would be good as that character. But that's really all I can really think of.
Carlos, you're thinking of Carlos.
Carlos, that's it. Yeah, he'd be a good Carlos. Actually, no. Now my brain is starting to go. Like, Boyd Holbrook wouldn't be too bad as Leon. Actually, wait, no. Boyd would be a better Chris because he's bigger.
I was thinking the dude who played Gendry. As Chris Redfield.
Gendry.
The blacksmith who was friends with Arya, who ran all the way fucking back.
He's kind of short though.
Well, use some movie making magic.
I would.
About to say Tom Cruise is fucking tiny, and they still make him look tall.
That's fair enough. Actually, you know who would be a really good Chris Redfield? Be Henry Cavill.
Only problem is age.
He looks really young though. Like he's another guy that does not age. It seems.
If they went straight to like a Resident Evil 5, I think absolutely he could do it.
Definitely. But anyway, that's all I can really think of. But yeah, Boyd Holbrook would be an interesting older Leon, if nothing else. Or he could play Chris, because he is a lankier guy. But yeah, that's all I could really think of. Holy Ninjato wants to know, how would we write the anti-villain? Think Ozymandias for reference. Well, the key to writing an anti-villain is a couple of things. Is you have to give them sympathetic motivation. And you have to usually pit them against somebody who is worse than they are, or give them or put them in the hero's journey in a sense that makes you feel for them. Because I remember there was I don't remember the name of it, but there was a Doctor Doom miniseries about his uprising in Latveria that I remember being the perfect anti-villain story. Because it really made you understand why he was the way he was. And that's basically what that kind of story is. Either that, or you go full Bomb Queen and just be ridiculous. And if you've never read Bomb Queen, you need to read it at least once, because it's hilarious. What do you think, Hatman?
Make them a designated villain. Make them, like, the true hero of the story, but just they're the bad guy. Like, basically make them right. Like, think Thanos, for example. Like, you know, the example that was given was Ozymandias. Yes, but think of someone like Ozymandias or Thanos, or even go for like a Byronic hero in a way, but just make them the designated villain. Like, I don't want to talk about what I'm cooking up right now, but let's just say that it has one. Yeah, no, their goals have to be correct, more or less.
They have to believe in it.
I don't even know if I would say that they have to believe in it as much as you would have to believe in it too.
Well, I think that belief and that conviction is part of what makes certain villains so interesting to people. Like Thanos, I think, is probably, like, his conviction is probably the most mesmerizing part of the character. It's, you know, that he truly believes in his mission, and he truly he's willing to go to lengths, you know, hitherto unthought of, to accomplish what he wants to accomplish.
but then you also like sympathize not just with him and his goals, but the end result too.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like we said in our review. He's the hero of the story.
Yeah.
In a way,
it is the hero's journey.
Yeah, but again, designated villain.
Mm-hmm.
So make it just a matter of perspective. I mean, every villain is the hero of their own story anyway, right?
Yeah. So. Zemo's another really good example of that.
Yep.
Zemo, like he was very sympathetic, which surprised me. Like that's one reason I liked him so much. Master Manipulator, which is what Zemo is in the comics, and yeah, it was like another good one's Killmonger. You can sympathize with him. Another one's Vulture. You could sympathize with him. You could understand the plight.
Mm-hmm.
And you kind of the hero is doing what he does more so out of necessity due to they're opposed to one another because of circumstance, not so much any sort of feeling of contrived destiny. I think in a lot of ways that is much more compelling when you're trying to build a good villain.
Would you say Magneto would also fall into the category of anti-villain?
Yes. Because you can sympathize with Magneto. You think of what he was a victim of. Of the Nazis. Which, by the way, Nick Spencer, once again, fuck you. Fuck him?
Fuck him.
Fuck him.
Fuck him.
Alright, let's move on. If we were to make our own survival horror game, what would it be? You have to escape from Zoe Quinn's closet. I couldn't. I have to admit, quite frankly, I could never make a survival horror game because I am not good at crafting powerlessness and necessarily writing powerlessness. I'm not very good at it. So I would be the last person you should ask that question.
The only kind of idea that I've ever had for a survival horror game is literally just you have no way to defend yourself at all, but you can like heal yourself from things that happen to you, but you are literally just helpless, more or less just naked in a way.
So like Amnesia.
Sort of, yeah.
Yeah, that game was a masterpiece of horror.
Yeah, but there's nothing that you can do. I like playing with light and shadow too, but Amnesia also.
Yep.
So looks like I got beat to it years ago.
Yeah. By the way, Machine for Pigs is a fucking abortion. Ugh, I hated Machine for Pigs so much. All right. Let's see here. Incel Mafioso asks, will the wokeness in entertainment continue, or will it eventually wane?
It's going to continue, but its influence will wane.
Yeah, it's at some point they will catch on that woke equals broke.
Yeah. Like anything, its influence will fade and then it'll come back, and it's just all in cycles. It's all in cycles.
I wonder if in Hollywood, if Captain Marvel could end up being the one that shows it. Because you've got Brie Larson saying that the film is like her protesting or something like that. Could end up all being virtue signaling, like because progressivism is marketing, whether we realize it or not. But like the way that she's like, it's pushing back against patriarchy or some bullshit. It's like, what the fuck are you on, lady? Like, first off, Scarlett Johansson has been in these movies for longer than you and is a bigger star than you. And on top of that, you've got the Wasp as well. Fuck you. Shut up. Like, you are not Gal Gadot in Wonder Woman. No. You are basically taking her cinematic sloppy seconds. And she's a better actress than you are. At least in superhero movies, I'm thinking. Because Brie Larson looks just unemotional. So,
Gal Gadot is also a better person too. Let's be real.
Yes, very much so. She's super nice and super grateful to fans.
Humble.
Yes.
Humble.
Well, considering her upbringing, it's hard not to be. So.
Truth.
Okay, Matchstick wants to know, what are our top 5 Mortal Kombat characters? Mine are Scorpion, will always be my favorite. After him would probably be Sub-Zero. And then, for me, it gets a little weird. After that is Havoc. From what was the one after Deadly Alliance? Deception.
Mm-hmm.
I really liked it, Deception. Smoke. Human Smoke, not Robot Smoke.
Mm-hmm.
And, be another one. And you know what? Shao Kahn.
Mm.
Shao Kahn he and Geese Howard are like my 2 favorite fighting game bosses. So that would be my picks. Hatman, go for it.
It's hard for me. I do know my top 2, and that's Johnny Cage and Sub-Zero. As far as the rest of them, you can just toss them wherever. Stryker, I like Curtis Stryker. Like Cabal, of course. He's in Mortal Kombat 11. The reveal trailer was fucking awesome. And honestly, I kind of feel like I've got to put Scorpion in there too. He is the face of Mortal Kombat. Like, let's be fucking real. And he's always been really fucking good. So,
oh yeah,
why the hell not?
Yeah, I love how in 10 they made him like lightning fast, which made sense. I mean, he is a ninja. Technically speaking, he's the only actual ninja in the game, even though there are ninjas in the game, if that makes any sense. He's the only one from Japan.
Yeah.
Because you've got... Who are all the ninjas? No. You've got Scorpion and Sub-Zero. You have Reptile.
No. Yeah, he was the only one from Japan. I was about to say, no, that's right, Sub-Zero was Chinese.
Yep. Because it's... God, there's so many of them. There's Scorpion and Sub-Zero, obviously, are the first 2. Then Reptile, Ermac, Rain.
Most of the others are just Lin Kuei. So.
Yeah, because Smoke, Sector, and Cyrax are all Lin Kuei.
Yeah,
who else am I mentioned Rain.
Medina.
Yeah, and they've kind of changed the way he looks as time has gone on.
Yeah.
Tremor is another one. Who is an elemental, but he's not a Lin Kuei. Though in the original timeline he was.
Mm-hmm.
And
Noob
Saibot was Sub-Zero
at
one point. I feel like I mentioned Ermac already. Ermac, they've really changed the way he looks.
Ermac's completely different.
Yeah,
so.
Now he's more of a sorcerer type.
Yeah, I don't even know if you call him a ninja type anymore.
So.
Yeah.
Oh, and Scarlet.
Yeah. Well, if you're going to put Scarlet in there,
then
I guess
Melina, Katana, Jade.
Yeah, well, yeah. Melina, Katana, Jade.
And then both of the chameleons.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's a lot of them. All right, let's move on. Koopa's Revenge wants to know, with the nonsense surrounding Far Cry New Dawn, do you think that history is repeating itself over what happened in Far Cry 5? Yes.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Game journalists are trash.
I mean, it's almost word for word repeated.
Yeah.
Oh my God, this is actually going to take on Trump's America. It doesn't take on Trump's America. This is terrible and horrible because it fails to do what's right and what's necessary. Fuck off.
Yeah, fuck them.
Fuck them.
Fuck them.
And then, I don't know who asked this question, it wasn't labeled, but are we at all worried about the game industry going too far with remaking classic games? That way Hollywood has become too dependent with remakes and reboots. Well, it's definitely a risk that they run, but they've been doing remakes and remasters since this generation started.
You could argue they've been doing it for longer. I mean, there's certainly arguments to be made that Metal Gear Solid is just a remake of Metal Gear 2.
But yeah, it's been going on for a while. Yeah, because Twin Snakes remake of Metal Gear Solid.
Yeah. That's straight up a remake. Yeah.
Because Kojima wanted to do it, and Silicon Knights said that they would, and it came out pretty well. I love it. I think it's the video game equilibrium.
Yep. I mean, think of like Super Mario All Stars, for example. That remade all the NES games.
Yeah. You know, it goes on for a while because you create a game and then there's a bunch of stuff you want to do, but the technology's not there.
Yeah.
So when the technology is there, you redo it.
Yeah.
So.
And, you know, sometimes that fucks up too, like with the Silent Hill 2 and 3 remakes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, you do run the risk, of course, but I think you're in a better spot with a remake because people are going in it critical.
Mm-hmm.
They're going in there thinking, okay, if you fuck this up, I will blast you.
Yeah.
The Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy was a prime example. When people found out the controls were changed up, the physics were different, they were about ready to fucking go, like sharpening their pitchforks and everything. Just over that.
And let's not forget the Master Chief Collection.
It took them years to finally fucking fix it. Years. It's worth playing. Now, I bought it day one. Holy shit. You basically couldn't play multiplayer.
Ugh.
You basically couldn't play multiplayer. All the fucking new terminals they put in Halo 2 Anniversary, you couldn't fucking access them. Like, it was a total shit show.
That sucks.
Yeah. It took them years to get it right.
Because I want to play that at some point just for Halo 2 Anniversary.
It's fixed now. It is definitely fixed now, but everything in there is in working order now. I can absolutely confirm because I played it since the update. It's much better. It's much smoother. Everything loads faster. You can play multiplayer finally. You can play Halo 1 fucking multiplayer. You play classic Halo 2 multiplayer again. So it's good.
See, I miss Blood Gulch. So yeah. I really wish they would bring that to PC.
What, Halo?
Master Chief Collection. Yeah.
Oh.
I'd have bought it.
I don't know if they...
That's one thing I don't understand is why they don't bring Halo to the PC again. They did it with Halo 1 and 2.
I don't know why. I guess because Halo 2 Vista didn't do really well.
That's a fair point.
But, I mean, I bought it. I fucking played it.
I still have my physical copy of the of Halo 1 PC. Oddly enough, developed by Gearbox.
Yep, I've got mine, but it's a Mac copy. That was the only way I played any sort of game for a long fucking time. And the Mac copy, I shit you not, the Mac copy had such bad fucking textures. Chief's visor was black. They could not even render the gold fucking visor.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah,
that sucks.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't think that they're going too far at all.
No.
So, all right, let's see. Week after questions, we have Eclectic 1995 wants to know, what historical event would you like to see adapted to film?
The rise of Napoleon. I think that'd probably fit better as a miniseries than anything else, but I do want to see it put to some kind of film because that is such an interesting part of history that France basically goes nuts and has a revolution for pretty much a fucking decade. All because they think they're executing tyrants and shit. They go through so many fucking governmental changes, and then all of a sudden this dude comes basically out of nowhere, takes over, is so charismatic that everyone fucking loves him, straight up asks the French people if he can be like their absolute dictator, and they go along with it.
Yeah, because France.
Yeah. You know, turns France into the first French Empire, fucking gets defeated, gets exiled, escapes, comes back to fucking France, and the people welcome him with open arms. Like, how the fuck do you do that? That is so fucking interesting, I think. There deserves to be some kind of fucking series about that. And y'all in the comments, let me know if one exists, because I need to be on that shit. I really do.
Yeah, Napoleon's a very interesting story. For me, it would be Richard the Lionheart and the Third Crusade, his war against Saladin, or Carolus Rex, Charles XII of Sweden. Charles XII has a really interesting story. The last of his line, the last of the great Swedish kings. He's a very, very interesting character in a lot of ways.
I think it'd be interesting also to do the like a really sort of critical take on the Russian Revolution.
Yes.
Because
that would be interesting.
I mean, you've got a lot of history there. Like, you could straight up go into like Lenin being influenced by his brother's execution. Like, that'd be something, but it would not be something to glorify him or the. Or
and that's the problem. Current Hollywood would like suck his dick.
Oh, for God's sake, absolutely they would. They'd make him out to be the fucking hero and Stalin out to be the fucking villain of the story, but neither of them were heroes. Neither.
No, they were garbage people.
They were dicks. One was a much bigger dick than the other, but they were still dicks.
Yeah. Let's see. Thoughts on a crying Ellen Page blaming Trump and Pence for Jussie Smollett being assaulted?
Oh, fucking God.
What the fuck was she even talking about?
Another person using a bully pulpit to fucking talk about things of which they know nothing.
First off, there have been assaults against homosexual people for years based purely on hatred of homosexuals. And it is wrong. But the idea that suddenly it became a bigger thing with Trump is bullshit. There's no evidence.
It's just trying to assign blame for a political agenda. Like, let's
exactly.
be real.
It's transparent as fuck, so fuck Ellen Page.
Fuck him.
Fuck him.
Fuck him.
I'm hitting that button a lot today.
So yeah, kind of lenient with the fuck him button, but to be honest,
but fuck him.
Fuck him.
Fuck him.
I still love that I psyched people out a couple of weeks ago with that. Just as right about as I'm about to start my monologue in the video, I'm like, psych, fuck him.
Oh my God.
Oh. I hope that folks realize that part of the reason that I don't do Exterminatus that often is because you're always asking for Exterminatus. Gotta be patient. Gotta let that stuff happen organically.
Yeah. I mean, the Exterminatus, like, you have to seriously fuck up to get that.
Yeah.
Fuck them is easy because we can just blow you the fuck up. We gotta fire up the cannons for the Exterminatus.
Yeah, we have to get a fleet moving.
Yeah.
You have any idea how much that shit costs?
Yeah, I mean, we can't blow the fucking budget every fucking show, you know?
Yeah.
By the way, Brimshay did ask us a question a while back. Why the fuck does it not count to send ammo as a donation? What does sending ammo not count as a donation?
We can't find ammo for those cannons on Earth. Are you kidding me? I have to go into the warp for that shit. You have any idea how exhausting it is to fend off Chaos Marines?
Oh, about to say, fucking, we can always take some ammo for the fuck 'em button.
Yeah.
Like, that's, you know, that's some fucking 5.56ers and goddamn
20mm grenades.
There you go, 20mm. I'm trying to think of the fucking specs for it. Yeah, send us that. Why not?
I'm just okay with money personally, but
Oh, that works. Well, money can buy ammunition. So
exactly. So just give us money for ammo. But anyway, let's move on. Incel Mafioso says, have you seen the footage of Brock Lesnar throwing the Universal title at Vince McMahon and Vince calling him an asshole? I did see that. It's probably a work because it's professional wrestling. So I wouldn't really put much stock in it.
yeah. The only thing I've seen lately is Becky Lynch basically fucking up the Royal Rumble to get into WrestleMania against Charlotte Flair, I think.
No, against Ronda Rousey.
That's right. Yeah, she beat Charlotte Flair in the Rumble for Rousey.
No, she beat. Yeah, she tossed Charlotte for it. But yeah, and that's gonna be a lot of people. There was a rumor that that's gonna be the main event of WrestleMania.
It fucking better be.
Fuck yeah, Becky is probably the most organic hit superstar on the roster.
Yeah.
In a long fucking time.
Yeah, they finally had to fucking come around on her. I have to say.
Which is stupid, because here's the thing. She is naturally incredibly beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
On top of that, she's a very good role model for young girls. She is super nice. She's super grateful with fans.
In spite of being a heel.
Yeah.
That's the best part.
And she is legitimately one of the best wrestlers in the world. You know, like, you look at, like, one match of hers that I still think of to this day is the match, her title challenge against Sasha Banks in NXT. Chillingly good match. Stole the show that night. Made her who she is today. You know? Yeah. Like, why she was not picked to do what she does now earlier is beyond me.
Well, they wanted to push legacy, basically.
Pretty much. Well, and that's the problem. It's with Vince McMahon, he has two things that he always gets hung up on: legacy and blondes with big tits. Charlotte Flair has both. No disrespect to Charlotte, because she is a very talented competitor herself. She is also easily one of the best female wrestlers of all time. But people like Becky more. That's what the fans want. And Vince has this problem of not giving fans what they want because he wants to make money his way.
I mean, even fucking Ronda Rousey, like, she's using the Rowdy moniker from Roddy Piper.
Yeah. Well, Roddy gave it to her.
Oh, yeah, he did. But still, that's legacy.
Yeah. So, as it stands, I think that with the Brock thing, it's probably a work. It's probably not legit. I think that Lesnar in his career, like, he is at a crossroads where he really does like professional wrestling. He has said so himself. He loves to perform. But oftentimes Vince puts him with dance partners he doesn't want to work with. And it's not fun. You know, like, that's always been the one thing that you see of shoot interviews with professional wrestlers is the biggest ones are the ones where they're griping about people they didn't want to work with. And the thing about Brock Lesnar is that you have to pay him, like, he gets paid like $6 million a year on top of a per performance payment, like per appearance payment. That's crazy money for this one guy. And he puts on good matches against certain opponents. You know, he put on a really good one recently with Daniel Bryan and Finn Balor. He just works really well with that kind of guy because they're experienced, they're veterans. He doesn't like wrestling guys who are more green. Much as I like Braun Strowman, he is one of those guys. So, but he would love to go to MMA. He'd love to fight Daniel Cormier because that's a big, big payday. Brock Lesnar, Daniel Cormier, Madison Square Garden, dude, you would sell it out in a heartbeat. It would be the biggest heavyweight fight of all time. So, yeah, it's It's one of those things where I think that he's probably trying to figure out where he wants to go at this point, because he's about to enter his 40s, and even though he still looks phenomenal for his age, he's got to obviously be on the gas for professional wrestling, because if nothing else, just for the look. But and he can't be on it if he's in the USADA testing pool.
Yeah.
So anyway, let's go ahead and move onward. What fictional female character would we like to have the honor of giving Carl Manvers her long overdue comeuppance? Marvel will never let that happen because they are still trying to force her down everyone's throat. Marvel Comics is still convinced that she's supposed to be Captain America. She will never have that role ever.
No.
Carol Danvers has never been that popular. Now,
she was more popular as Ms. Marvel than fucking Captain Marvel.
Exactly. That's the thing. Like, everybody loved her as Ms. Marvel. Everybody liked her. She was a lot more interesting then. Now she is
the whole get pregnant by her own fucking son thing.
Let's not talk about Avengers 200.
Yeah, no.
But as Ms. Marvel, she was written more down to earth. And as Captain Marvel, she's written like a Mary Sue. Who would I like to see give her comeuppance? Phyla Vell. Who should still be Captain Marvel, mind you. Oddly enough, Phyla Vell is the... Here's the funny thing about Carol Danvers as Captain Marvel. She's the third female Captain Marvel. Marvel currently is trying to ignore that Phyla Vell and Monica Rambeau ever existed.
Monica Rambeau giving her a comeuppance would be hilarious, actually.
Yeah, exactly. So, I am of the opinion that if anybody, it should be Phyla Vell. Because, like, if you had promoted Phyla Vell, that's, like, your most progressive character you could have. Because she is not only a woman, but she is a lesbian. But on top of that, everyone likes Phyla Vell. Because she's a down-to-earth character who had loss and had things she had to go through. And she is technically, or she is the person who should have inherited the mantle of Captain Marvel. Because Marvel is her fucking dad. Christ.
I would have even taken Monica Rambeau at this fucking point. Like, just...
Yeah.
Keep it with fucking her. I mean, even if you're gonna go for the full diversity gambit too, black woman. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Fucking go. Jesus, not that difficult.
No. So, that's my answer for that. Red Dragon asks, if you could rewrite Kingdom Hearts as a series, what would we do differently about it? Make it less fucking confusing. There is too much bullshit in Kingdom Hearts. And it's hard to fucking follow. Ugh. I can tell there's a rant coming, Hatman. Just let it go.
Stop trying to make fucking Final Fantasy with Disney characters.
Well, that just... rewrite it, not destroy the franchise.
No, that's the only way to fucking do it. Otherwise, you're going to get fucking confusing, nonsensical fucking storylines. Don't make fucking Final Fantasy with Disney characters. This isn't a fucking mashup. No. Just no. Bad. Bad.
What else we got here?
I'm gonna get crucified in the comments for that.
Oh yeah, because you're basically saying it shouldn't be Kingdom Hearts at that point, because it's kind of what it's known for.
That's the thing, that it's so fucking up its own ass and confusing, and you have to pay attention to fucking everything, and it's so difficult to fucking explain, because that's a hallmark of most fucking modern Final Fantasy games. It's so fucking difficult, and especially since it's a fucking series.
Well, I heard that 15 wasn't hard to follow.
15 is a return to some simplicity, like, thank God.
But
even then,
what was the one that was really bad? Was it 13? 13. 13.
And it had fucking sequels.
And you had to read a fucking encyclopedia inside the fucking game to understand even a little bit of what was going on. And the characters were terrible.
Best fucking thing I heard about Final Fantasy 13 is it's like food poisoning. It gets better after the first 24 hours.
That's a good way to put it.
Like, Jesus Christ.
I remember my memory of Final Fantasy 13 was laying on my buddy's couch while he's playing it, and he's trying so hard to like it. And there's like, we were up all night, and I'm just laughing at this fucking game the whole time while I've drank like 12 Mountain Dews. I'm just laying there like half alive, like, this is so stupid. And I was so glad that his roommate wasn't there that night, because I remember the fucking character Hope. Oh, God. He wouldn't shut the fuck up. He was so bitchy. He was a walking vagina. He was a walking male feminist. He's just such a pussy. It's like, shut the fuck up. It sounded like Will Wheaton's inner dialogue in reality.
That game got sequels of all the fucking Final Fantasy games.
I don't know why.
The worst fucking reviewed one, the one that most people fucking hate out of all of them in the last fucking 20 years, got a sequel.
Yeah.
And then it got another sequel. Like, how? Fucking how?
I remember it was like, when they announced Lightning Returns, I wanted to just hold up a giant neon sign that says, "No one cares."
Yeah. And this isn't like a fucking 10-2 situation. We're talking like the game it originates from.
Yeah.
Like, holy shit.
10 at least has a fun story, just has a bad ending.
Fucking 7 sequel. Dirge of Cerberus or something?
Dirge of Cerberus, yeah.
Yeah. I think it got Advent Children out of it, which I hear wasn't bad, but then again, I'm biased because I don't fucking like Final Fantasy.
Well,
so.
Advent Children has a weird storyline, but really good action scenes.
See? Weird storyline. Hallmark of it. That's what... The only way to make Kingdom Hearts sane is to uncouple Final Fantasy from it.
Well, the thing with Final Fantasy is, like, the science fiction-y ones are always the most confusing. The straight fantasy ones, not so much. 6 being a good example.
What do you think happened in Kingdom Hearts? They had a fucking... Even
Kingdom Hearts
the idea of the gummy ship just has
don't even get me started. Like I said, the only reason I have ever played Kingdom Hearts was to get laid. I'm dead... The only times that I've ever played it, or tolerated it, was when sex was involved. Like, I'm dead serious. Like, and I will never again. Like, that... If an attractive woman came up to me and said, "Will you come play Kingdom Hearts with me?" My first question would be, "Are we fucking afterwards?" If the answer is yes, then I'd be like, alright, sure. I will tolerate it. It should be worth it afterwards. If we're not, I'm sorry, lady. You can go fuck off with that stuff. So, just my 2 cents. Because it's not worth it.
Only good thing that came out of Kingdom Hearts to me was the music. The music is absolutely phenomenal. I will never say anything bad about the music. The rest of it, though, y'all can have it. I don't want it.
Yeah. Storm's moving in. Okay. Let's see. What do we got next? God, we haven't even hit politics yet.
Yeah, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, this is a long one. Hardboiled wants to know, do we think conservatives who want to make a difference with movies are better off infiltrating Hollywood and reverse corrupting it, or just making indie studios? Indie studios, I would think. The good thing about the power of the internet is that you can pretty much do whatever the hell you want. What I would love to do, if I was just thinking about this recently, if Project Lazarus, imagine if there was a group of, like, conservative animators out there that would be interested in turning that into an animated series, and we just put it on YouTube.
That's not a bad idea.
I would love to. I would love to engineer. Well, actually, no. Even I know a guy who would be willing to compose the soundtrack. But that's the thing about kind of right-wing media right now. We could be doing this. Like, we're getting into comic books now. Myself obviously included there. But people who are more right-leaning are either doing independent comics. Chuck and Ethan being probably the two most prominent, I would think, because they're the biggest names. Ethan with his work on Green Lantern, Chuck with his Chuck being one of the best Batman writers ever. And then, and also one of the best Punisher writers ever. And then, you've got up-and-comers as well, who will probably be doing it. And maybe not all of them are even right-wing, but they're independent, and they're willing to listen to different thoughts. And they're not, scumbags. They're not social justice warriors. Like, that potential is there. And I've gotten emails from people who were animators at one point, who have said, and Hatman knows this because I showed him, is, I can't get work anymore as an animator because I voted for Donald Trump or what have you. Like, God, that would be so cool. So fucking cool to have. So, that's my thought, is just do independent. Get together with people and do independent. They're trying to influence Hollywood. Hollywood will end up influencing you. That's just the nature of it. People will go into it saying, I'm going to change it from the inside. Fast forward 20 years, you haven't changed shit. The amount of people who actually do that are very rare.
My whole process is I don't think the alternative is to create a conservative alternative to Hollywood. I mean, eventually it's going to burn itself out. It's just a matter of time at this point, because people are going to get sick of being fucking preached to. But you still have to create good content in the meantime. Don't create content as conservative content. Don't try to put it down political lines, because that's what we fucking rag on the left for doing. The idea is not to politicize content, it's to create good fucking art. That should be the end goal of it.
Yeah.
So yeah, if that means making your own studio because you can't get work because of who you fucking voted for or your beliefs you've put on Twitter, yeah, by all means. But don't come at it as like, this is a conservative organization, because that's going to be tied to you forever.
Yeah.
And people are always going to think that there is a bias to whatever you create as a result of that. And they will always judge you for it.
Yeah.
There's no reason to start off like that. And there's no reason to bias your shit and then rag on the other side for doing it. Just make good shit. Shit.
Yeah, exactly. All right, let's move on. So Chris Jones wants to know, do we think we should do with Nemesis what they did to Mr. X in the RE remake? As in, we talked about it a little bit. I wouldn't say, again, just to rehash, don't have him as a constant pursuer, but have him as a constant threat, if that makes any sense. Like, you're always worried about him showing up, but don't make him show up all the time.
Mm-mm.
It's about picking your moments.
It's a surprise when he shows up, but he's not always, like, you can't stand in one fucking spot and then he's gonna fucking you.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
No.
All right. Gojira asks, do we think John Carpenter's popularity is partly because he's one of the few filmmakers whose stories were very metaphorical, i.e. Michael Myers symbolizing evil, Snake Plissken symbolizing independence, etc., etc.? Well, what's the metaphor in The Thing? Or the rest of his Apocalypse trilogy? The metaphor in, like, They Live is very obvious.
Yeah. I guess in The Thing it's more along the lines of just who to trust in general. It's just the unknown almost.
Our boy just emailed me. Keep going.
But
sorry.
I don't know if that's what makes him a success. I think honestly the fact that he made good movies first and foremost. Like, yeah, you can dissect everything about it, but at the end of the day, like, Halloween is a slasher film. Escape from New York is, I don't know if I could even call it a heist film, but I've had people try to tell me, yeah, it's more of a heist film than anything else. It doesn't feel like me.
Kind of. A little bit.
Yeah, the Thing is a fucking thriller.
Well, it's a weird sci-fi horror whodunit.
Yeah.
That's what I've always felt was the appeal of John Carpenter films, is it didn't feel like it was typical.
No, they're certainly not, and they're enduring too. Like, Escape from New York, like, you can go back and watch it today, even though it's like, oh my god, 1990. This is what they thought New York was going to look like in 1995.
Yep.
Like, yeah, obviously, you know, take that away, but it still holds up. It still feels timeless as a result. I mean, all of his films do, and that's good. That's the mark of a good filmmaker.
And a lot of the way that he did things is still, you know, not parodied, but rather, you know, obviously continues to influence even to this day. Like, I'm just pulling up his big hits. Like, when I was watching Punisher Season 2, there was an episode that felt a lot like Assault on Precinct 13. A lot like it. A lot of horror stories, like, in a lot of ways, Nemesis and Tyrant feel inspired by Michael Myers and this unstoppable foe. You know, the
it's
Thing.
An unstoppable foe that you know nothing about, too.
Yeah.
It's literally just a shape,
Yeah.
if you will.
And then where would Resident Evil and Silent Hill be without the Thing?
Yep.
We'd have no Metal Gear Solid if it wasn't for Escape from New York.
Quite seriously, quite literally.
There's a blatant reference to it in the second Metal Gear Solid. What else is there? God, there's people I say Big Trouble in Little China. They can that entire monologue at the beginning of the movie. There are people who can recite the whole fucking thing. They Live. I used to be able to quote constantly. Now put on these glasses, or you're gonna start eating that trash can. Roddy Piper was. I miss Roddy so much.
Oh, God bless him, man.
But fuck, man. I even loved Vampires and Ghosts of Mars. I ain't gonna fucking lie. I oddly enough really liked Ghosts of Mars. I don't know why. It's a fun movie. Vampires is really good though.
You know, I just thought of something too. All the soundtracks that John Carpenter himself did were really simplistic.
Mm-hmm.
But that's all they needed to be.
Yeah.
They were all really good at creating suspense.
Think The Thing, for example.
Oh, I'm thinking like even Escape from New York.
Yeah.
I'm thinking like Halloween.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you go back and listen to the soundtrack of the first Halloween, it's basically like 3 fucking motifs.
Yeah.
That's it. And they're all really, really simplistic. Like, even the chase music is basically like
the Halloween theme is 5 notes. Dun 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 dun, and a chord. Dun. Or a couple of chords. That's it. That's all it is. It's got the complexity of a Green Day song. But it's so well composed, because a lot of people don't understand. Being a good composer does not mean you can make really complex music. Being a good composer means that you know what notes to put when.
Yeah. It's used to its maximum effectiveness. So, yeah, praise for John Carpenter. Just
yeah.
Absolutely, yes.
Now that I think about it, like, there are some of these movies that he's made I haven't even seen that have been on my list. I've never seen Village of the Damned, for example.
I haven't seen that one either.
Yeah, I've been wanting to see that for years. So, let's move on though. We really need to get to this stuff. We're not even done with that yet. Okay. Somebody asked us about the Shaggy thing. He's not going to be in Mortal Kombat.
I wish.
It'll never happen. CT117 says, do conservatives want to enforce traditional laws such as gender roles for men and women? Oh, wait, no, that's politics question. So we are done with entertainment. Never mind.
Okay, cool. On to politics.
All right,
let's go.
On to politics. So, and we're going to run through these because I'm kind of wanting to get through because we've been doing this for a while now.
This is an over blizzard, so naturally we're going to trudge through it.
Yeah. Okay, Crystal Wing wants to know, with everything that's happened after the Catholic school kids, do we think that leftists will take the hint and back off, or will they get worse and trigger civil war? Well, I'm kind of tired of the Civil War talk, but they're definitely not backing down. They backed off the Covington thing. They took a big hit there, and now they're getting sued for it.
They're getting sued for it, but at the same time, it's like they're still willing to run with it, like the Jussie Smollet thing. They're running with that too, even though now like evidence is starting to
falling apart.
Yeah, the narrative is falling apart too, and they were all over fucking that. So I mean, they want to believe Orange Man bad, and it's trying to cherry pick and twist whatever they can into pushing that, into making it real. If it's not true, they will make it true.
Pretty much. That's their thought process. Fake news.
Fake news.
Okay, Daniel Garza, for both of us, favorite Old Testament miracle? Parting of the Red Sea.
I don't think you can really beat that. I don't think you can be. I'm trying to think of like even like Ark of the Covenant stuff. The falling of the walls of Jericho.
Falling of the walls of Jericho is a good one. My favorite Ark of the Covenant one is when the Philistines captured it, took it to their home temple, held some sort of a ceremony, and then the next day they were all dead.
It's a radio for talking to God.
Sooner or later, God's going to cut you down.
Mm-hmm. Keep your eyes shut, by the way. If it ever gets dug up again, which I highly doubt that it ever will, keep your eyes shut. Don't look at it.
Yes. All right. Tom the Fish wants to know, do you think from an optics point of view that the March for Life should be women only? No.
No.
It is mostly women.
Yeah.
You got to keep in mind, some of the most diligently pro-life people in the world you will ever meet will be women.
I think it's only fair that it takes two to conceive.
Therefore, both should be involved.
Absolutely. Just like I believe that this whole no uterus, no opinion thing, I think is bullshit. Like you, all of a sudden, if
semen, no opinion. Fuck you.
Yeah, if you are pro-choice and you're a man, then suddenly it's okay. Your voice can be heard. But if you're a man who's pro-life, no uterus, no opinion. Fuck off with that shit. Even then, that's transphobic.
We both need to. I'm going, but we both need to go to the International Men's Issues Conference this year, just to troll the fuck out of people.
Just got to figure out the dates, because if
we could do live Micah and the Hatman, that would be crazy. I don't know if we can do that, but hopefully, maybe.
If it coincides with SuperCon, though, I can't go because I've already booked my hotel for that. So.
All right, Brian Gilmartin wants to know any thought. Oh, we already did Fairness Doctrine. Never mind.
We did talk about Fairness Doctrine. Yes.
Yeah. So Brian, in case you missed it, go back Politics Podcast. We talk about Fairness Doctrine. Let's see here. Koopa's Revenge home. Can we establish an anti-pope? Challenge the authority of Francis the Foot Kisser. Might be an ancient practice, but what else can we do? Not be Catholic. I don't recognize the Pope.
So do it again. There were at one point 2 popes who excommunicated each other. Never forget.
And let's not forget the fucking Tudors and the Church of England.
Or even the Orthodox Church, for God's sake.
Yeah.
Like, they're... No anti-popes.
No,
No anti-popes.
fuck the Pope.
No, just...
No. Just don't be Catholic. That's my thing. Just don't be Catholic.
Or if you're Catholic, become the Pope and then abolish the papacy.
Religious libertarianism. I like it.
Open the Vatican's archives, abolish the papacy. You'll probably get assassinated afterwards, but fucking do it.
Fuck it.
Fuck it.
Final crusade against the papacy. Deus Vult.
Deus fucking Vult.
All right. Altus Whisper wants to know, where does Trump go here after the government shutdown ending? Was it a waste or a possible strategic move? Definitely a strategic move. I just don't think it was the right one.
There's nowhere he could have gone. It was... Everything was turning against him at that point. Public opinion was starting to turn against him. The delay, I think, is the best possible move that he could have made. And I mean, he's delivering the State of the Union tonight, while we're at least when we're recording this. Like, now.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to watch it afterwards and talk about it on the podcast. But all things considered, yeah. Because now he's got 3 weeks of no one bitches about the government being closed. And it gets time to fucking make some deals. And so far, no deals have been made because no Democrats want to come back to the table because they're being fucking assholes about it. So it's probably going to shut down again and we'll do all this all over again. And it's going to be fucking nonsense. I think he is going to just pull the whole emergency declaration thing to get it built. And that, I think, would be a big fucking mistake. But
yeah, I don't want that.
I think that's just what he's going to do at this point. I really, really don't want him to. A bad precedent to set, and it's basically emulating Obama with the power of the pen.
Yeah, we do not want that.
Fuck that. Also, a special fuck you to the fucking Republican Congress that didn't want to fucking get shit done and got fucking complacent.
Yeah.
Like, you passed tax reform, and that's about it. You didn't... You shat the bed on healthcare. You shat the bed on immigration. You shat the bed on funding the wall. Like, what the fuck is your issue? You were in power, and you didn't fucking accomplish really much of fucking anything. Fuck off. Fuck you. You stabbed Trump in the back on that one. Fuck off.
Yeah, I would agree. Okay, Hardboiled asks, so with Theresa May being such an incompetent leader... Oh, we answered that one, too, about whether or not somebody takes over the Tories. Holy Ninjato asks, is there a point where getting stuff done requires loopholes with the hope that it would be fixed in the future, like the declaration of the state of emergency?
No.
No.
No. What is as soon as you create the loophole, you open up the flood. Okay, case in point, the nuclear option. Harry Reid did that to basically subvert parliamentary procedure or Senate procedure, and then it got fucking used against him. And then all of a sudden, wait a minute, no, you're not supposed to do that. And now there's all this fucking talk of, okay, let's eliminate the nuclear option. Well, that's probably not going to fucking happen now.
Yeah.
You done fucked yourself. Once you open the loophole, you have to try twice as hard to fucking close it. And it's not... That's why I'm really fucking worried about the emergency declaration, because, like I said, emulating Obama's power of the pen. He opened that shit up. It's on Trump whether or not to close that fucking can of worms. And I hope he fucking closes it.
Same here. Let's see here. Derek Mozzarella wants to know, as of now, who's our bet for the 2020 election on the Democrats' side?
Kamala Harris.
That's Hatman's pick. If Schultz goes Democrat, he's my pick. If he does not, probably Kamala Harris.
I say Kamala Harris now, even over Joe Biden. If Joe Biden decides to run, I say Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris got a goddamn CNN town hall not even a week after announcing her candidacy.
Yeah. She won't win. She's tailor-made to lose to Trump for sure, and I don't think the Democrats will realize that.
She's coming in with serious fucking baggage, and Trump is going to be able to easily fucking exploit that.
Yeah. I mean,
Absolutely.
just the simple fact that somebody came out and said that she slept her way into politics.
Not only
boy.
that, but like, screwed over the people that helped her out. Actually, like, fucked over legislation that would have like protected minorities and shit too.
Yeah.
Oh, that's gonna eat her ass alive. Like, all she's really got is she's a hardliner Democrat and the fucking diversity hire. That's it.
Yeah.
That's all she's fucking got. I mean, even Elizabeth Warren has gone on her little apology tour, and nobody's buying that shit.
No.
Nobody's fucking buying it. She's already fucked herself. I don't even know if she will like actually get into the fucking first round of the primaries, to be honest with you.
I think she will, but it won't last long.
I don't know if she'll make it to Iowa, to be honest with you. I don't know. She might call it quits. She might call it quits too early, because there was a fucking Washington Post article that came out today or yesterday that said she listed herself as an American Indian for another fucking job application.
Yeah.
So she's doing it for decades now.
Yeah, it's gonna be what inevitably destroys her.
Oh yeah, no, she absolutely, especially since Cherokee Nation's already basically called her on her bullshit.
Yeah,
so.
it's a live by the sword sort of thing.
Exactly, you're fucked. So
now,
way to go. You didn't even get to be 1/1024th of a president.
Exactly. All right, let's what was the other one? But yeah, with Kamala Harris, she's tailor-made to lose to Trump. So if she is the nominee, she's going to lose. Biden has a good chance because Biden could maybe appeal to the center.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe not. Like we said, the big X factor is suburban moms. It was the big X factor in the midterms, and it will be the big X factor in the next election. If it is Schultz, Trump's in trouble. Like I said, he's in trouble. He could, like I said, I don't want Schultz to win. I want Donald Trump to be the president until 2024. But he's in real danger if Schultz runs against him.
Still say Schultz is not going to be able to get in with the Democrats. They came out too early against him.
There's a possibility. We'll have to see what happens there. I think it might be too early to tell. But he's the X factor no matter what when it comes to 2020. Because if he runs independent, he could pull from both sides and either one could lose.
Yep.
Okay. Gojira asks, how much would it take for me to debunk Vox Day's Jordanetics book? Well, do people really want me to calculate this shit live? Okay. So it is a $20 book. And it is largely being brigaded by his fanboys. To give it good ratings. It is probably nonsense. But
it's Vox Day, so
yeah. So it's a $20 book. If you pay me $40, I would do it. because it says look inside. Like, I can only imagine what this, like, says. So it's the foreword is written by Milo Yiannopoulos, and he says, "I'm a smart person, really smart actually, and very expensively educated." Milo, you dropped out of college. "But half the time I can't understand a bloody word Jordan Peterson says." Oh boy.
Real talk?
This immediately sounds pretentious.
Real talk?
Real talk.
When the fuck did the right start emulating the left and trying to eat its own?
I don't even know, but yeah, this forward is pretty trash.
Make it $50. There's your bounty, everybody. There's your bounty. $50 and Micah will sacrifice some brain cells for this shit.
Yeah, because I'm reading, like, the first paragraph is like, "Oh, I ignored Jordan Peterson, then I stopped ignoring Jordan Peterson, and I wrote these 2 books. Did you know these 2 books I read? SJW's Always Lie and SJW's Always Double Down. Pay attention to me. I'm Jim Acosta. I'm Jim Acosta. Pay attention to me." What a fucking joke. But yeah, that's my asking price.
You have your bounty.
Yeah. Jordan Stein wants to know, by Trump doing a temp reopening of the government, what are the odds that the a-holes in Congress come to a deal that works, or is it going to be nothing more than a pissing contest? Oh, it's going to be another pissing contest.
Yeah. Just like we said earlier. Nothing's going to fucking happen.
That's why I said right out of the gate, don't give him an inch. My philosophy is always going to be give him both barrels. Fuck them.
Hashtag both barrels. Fuck them.
Okay, on to our final politics questions. The last set. Hardboiled Entertainment says, "I think Trump allowed for the reopening as he knows Dems would say no again, and he has more support than when he declares the national emergency." Thoughts? We're still heading down a bad road.
Yeah.
If he declares a national emergency when he loses eventually or leaves the office, we're going to get a national emergency for climate change. We're going to get it for healthcare. And guess what? Our economy is going to fucking tank.
Yeah.
It is not a precedent to set. It is not good. Don't cheer it.
No, absolutely not. I mean, imagine
because here's the thing, that will cause a civil war.
I mean, imagine like a national emergency for like reparations or some shit.
Yeah.
Like let's take it to a crazy level. Like certifiably fucking crazy. Like you can make arguments for whatever else, but let's say like it's a national emergency. What happened to the descendants of slaves in this country? So reparations money,
or complete destruction of the private sector as a national emergency because there's too many poor people.
Or immigration is a national emergency, so everyone gets amnesty.
Yeah,
imagine that
and they open the borders.
Imagine that shit instead.
It would be civil war.
Actually, you know what? That's a great fucking example. The other end of this is declare a national emergency to open the border as opposed to creating a fucking border wall.
Yeah.
If you don't want that, you need to be speaking out against this, what Trump is proposing. That is going way beyond the limits that the president needs to fucking have.
It makes the executive branch too big.
Yeah, and it does not need to be too big. Remember.
Now here's the thing. If Donald Trump said, this is a national emergency, and by the way, as of tomorrow, I am going to sign a bill that strips me of this power after this order is completed, that would be the ultimate troll.
Yeah,
because then he would basically cut that off immediately. But he's not going to do that.
Mm.
So, this is terrible. Don't support it.
No, absolutely not. Again, power of the pen.
Bad under Obama, bad under Trump.
It will turn. It can become. Someone would become a dictator. No kings.
No.
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 Remember the history of this fucking country. We kicked the king out. We don't need another one. Eclectic 1995 says, if or when electric cars are able to become reliably and financially available to the average man, what do both of you think will happen to the gasoline industry? Well, it'll tank. No pun intended.
It's made to tank. It's a finite resource.
Yeah.
So it's going to run out eventually.
Yeah, there will eventually be a day where I think that sort of thing will become more commonplace, and there will be more electric stations. Mm-hmm. Like you'll find more charging stations at gas stations maybe in 20 years, 40, 50 years down the line. Most cars will probably be electric.
Yeah.
And there will probably be a service in 50 years or so where you can hit something on your holographic phone that probably looks like the Omni tool from Mass Effect, and just basically have your car go do things for you. You can set a route for it, meaning at this point you want groceries. Like at this point of the day, the car is here to pick up groceries for you before it comes and picks you up from work. And then you drive it home, or it drives itself. In 50 years, the technology will probably be perfected for things like that.
Really weird as shit.
And just everything will be able to be delivered to you.
Yeah, there'll probably be engine conversions for older cars too. Because
you have to keep in mind, with DoorDash now becoming popular, fast food is now deliverable to your home.
Mm-hmm.
I've used it. I know. It's awesome.
It's fucking weird as shit.
And here's the cool thing. Anybody can apply for it. If you have a car, you can do it. And you can make money off it. Yeah.
I had McDonald's delivered to my hotel room once. It was weird as shit.
But it's awesome.
It was weird.
It is weird, but it's awesome. It's awesomely weird. And that's how industries move forward.
We can have fast food delivered to our homes, and yet Chick-fil-A is still closed on Sundays.
I'm perfectly fine with it. But we can have Chick-fil-A delivered to us.
We can have Chick-fil-A delivered to us on Saturday so we can eat it on Sunday.
Exactly. All right.
I will make that trade-off.
But yeah, the gasoline industry at one point will go away. And it is kind of unfortunate. But that's the nature of all industry.
Yeah.
But and this is one thing I'm not for the whole Ludditism thing that kind of Tucker Carlson tends to push, is that there is still and will always be careers for the uneducated, quote unquote, or those who choose not to pursue higher education is the way I like to put it. Because I've met a lot of people who didn't pursue education that are sharp as a whip.
Yeah.
Like I have a brother-in-law, my stepbrother-in-law. Didn't go to college. He's a smart guy. Very clever guy. He's not the most he's not as well versed in, the oratory art of conversation like I am. He doesn't have my vocabulary, my vernacular, but he's a really smart guy. He's a clever person. And you can't, and he's, and some people are just socially smart. Those are people that you find are amazing salesmen. But they're usually not oftentimes college educated.
Nope. My dad owns his own business. He didn't go to fucking college.
Yeah, I'm on my way to becoming a fraud investigator professionally. I do some fraud investigation as part of my current job, but at some point that will be my job totally. Which fraud investigation in the insurance industry is a six-figure job. I didn't finish college. Have no intention of finishing college because it doesn't make any money.
Not unless you're going for a STEM degree.
Yeah, and I wouldn't.
Or law, or
law would take too long. I'm already almost in my mid-30s.
Yeah.
I'd love to be a lawyer. Don't get me wrong. I think I'd be very good at it. But anyway, let's see here. How far down the slippery slope does the DNC have to go before people abandon them entirely? Well, they have to stop running moderates at all. And they still do run moderates, but they're not the big figureheads of the party. And that's the thing. Like, the moderates are the Joe and Jim Bob Democrat that won a bunch of seats in the House. You know, or at least they presented themselves as moderates. Kristen Sinema is not really a moderate, but she ran as one. And lo and behold, she won out. And now she's like the most ridiculously dressed person on the floor of the Senate. But my point stands, is she ran as a moderate even though she isn't.
Honestly, people aren't going to abandon ship entirely for them, no matter how fucking far down the rabbit hole they go. Because there's always going to be people, at least on the far left, like even on what we would consider to be the fringes now, that if they went way fucking further over on the compass, they'd still be throwing their fucking support behind the Democratic Party.
Yeah, pretty much.
There's nothing you can do to get people to totally fucking abandon ship. It's just, it's not going to happen. Even if, like, you have the current setup, like your Republican Party, Libertarian Party, Green Party, Democratic Party, and the Democrats go, like, fucking full left, you will still have people begrudgingly support them just because they don't want to support a third party. You know, the Libertarians wouldn't be left enough for them, and the Greens wouldn't be, I don't know, like hardcore about certain issues for them. And there's also that familiarity with the Democratic Party anyway. I mean, it's just like why people haven't jumped ship from the GOP that have been, you know, lifelong Republicans after Trump got the nomination. You know, because it's the Republican Party. It's what they're familiar with. And then you've also got the people that are like, well, we can change it from the inside. And good luck.
We already went over that.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, you're not going to be able to do anything at this point. Except change the name to the Democratic Socialists, and maybe some people will start to jump ship.
Yeah. Let's see here. And a follow-up question to that. Swordsman 100 wants to know, is it safe to label the Democrats as evil now that they have outright called for the death of post-birthday, basically advocated for infanticide? And let me just put it this is the safest way to answer this question. Anybody who supports infanticide is evil.
Yes.
We'll just put it that way.
Yeah.
Anybody who supports infanticide is evil.
Call the individuals evil. Do not start moralizing entire parties.
There are pro-life Democrats, believe it or not.
Yeah. Do not start moralizing entire parties. That was the mistake that the Republicans made in the 90s. That's the mistake that the Democrats are making now. Do not moralize parties. Do not.
Yeah.
The individuals.
There are, and you can look in the comments of the last podcast, as people are like, I'm pro-choice, but I found this to be appalling.
Mm-hmm.
And there are people that I know that we've talked to who are pro-choice. Sargon being one who is offended by quite a bit by these sorts of things.
Yeah. It's like I said, then there's really no sort of argument that you could put up to defend this. It is, you have to be severely misinformed to really, really support it, or just outright heartless. But no, it's the individuals that can be painted with that kind of a brush, not the collectives. We're advocates for individualism here, in case you didn't notice.
Yeah, definitely. Well, what do we think? Duke of Tumwater wants to know thoughts on the Joe Rogan podcast with Jack Dorsey. I didn't watch it, but I didn't hear good things about it. I heard that Joe softballed him a lot. Well,
that's the thing. Joe Rogan's not really like an investigative journalist.
Yeah.
So it's, I don't know, but at the same time, like a talk show host, like even David Pakman, you know, he's sort of with Rogan there and being more talk show host than anything else. He still grilled, back when he was doing his Gamergate interviews, he still grilled people on both sides. So, why Joe wouldn't? I don't fucking know. I mean, I've heard people saying shit like, "Oh, it's becoming the lefty cuck podcast now." I hope not, but
no, because he still has people on there that are right wing, or are more libertarian. But yeah, he does have some stupid people on there.
Yeah.
And Joe tends to play the middle ground, and he'll sometimes play devil's advocate. But he's been playing a lot more middle ground lately. Like, well, you got a good point there, but I don't know if I completely agree. Like, that is constantly what he says. Where, but yeah, I think that he hasn't been as jabbing lately with a lot of his statements as he was like a few years ago.
He needs to ask more questions, I think.
Yeah, I would agree. So, let's see here. Brian Gilmartin says, since being tolerant of other races goes hand in hand with good etiquette, what does that mean that the unconscious bias and other such courses are redundancies at their core? Yes.
Yeah.
You don't need to tell me about unconscious bias. You need to tell me other people are human.
Mm-hmm.
Common humanity. And that's what's important. That's a much more powerful statement.
Everyone's going to have an unconscious bias anyway. I mean, that is literally social psychology.
Yeah.
Your group is naturally going to have some selective biases against other groups.
A lot of it has to do with how you're raised.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
A lot of it is developmental.
Yes.
If you are raised around a bunch of people who look like you, you will gravitate towards people who look like you unconsciously.
Or does that mean you?
Yeah. But does that mean you dislike them? Other people? No, not necessarily.
No, absolutely.
It's like this whole thing of saying like that's a proof of racism. Fuck off.
Yeah, no, I mean,
it's just everybody has tendencies.
Yeah.
And everybody has a subconscious.
The same can be said for political views. You're more likely to adopt political views of people you surround yourself with.
Mm-hmm.
Religion, all that shit.
Yeah.
It's not limited to race. I mean, the issue is whether or not you act on any sort of biases that you have.
Yeah.
Or if you are espousing them in ways that, do advocate harm or at least promote. It's basically don't be an asshole. Like that's
the thing about racism is and this is the one thing that the progressives always get wrong is that it requires malice.
Yes.
And that's
yes.
You have to actively hate something.
Yes.
To be a racist, you have to actively hate somebody who looks different than you. But yeah, it like a lot of those things are completely stupid. It's basically don't be a dick. It's a simple rule to live by.
It's incredibly. It is not hard at all to not be an asshole. It's not difficult. Whatever anyone's going to tell you, it's not hard.
No, it really isn't. And finally, Seth Hackley says thoughts on the Democrats trying to abolish the Electoral College with a new bill to decide elections via popular vote. Well, it didn't go anywhere, which is to be expected because nobody, people. You get rid of the Electoral College, we're not really a republic anymore.
What a damn surprise! They lost the game. Now they want to change the rules.
Exactly.
Fuck them.
Fuck them.
Fuck them.
All right.
There's your consolation prize. Some bullets and a grenade. Congratulations.
Yes. Get fucked.
Indeed.
All right, folks. We're tired.
Made it over the mountain. Wow.
Yes. We're tired. We've been doing this for like an hour and a half.
Yeah. And we have to watch the fucking State of the Union too, so.
Yeah. I think I'm going to watch it tomorrow. Honestly.
I might have to also, yeah.
Yeah. So we do appreciate you guys. Again, one thing I will say, like, some people have been asking, like, how much do I pay you to review X, Y, or Z? I'll just say it this way. If you are wanting me to watch an entire fucking show, you're going to have to look at what Foxhelm donated to make me watch a bunch of episodes of My Little Pony, which is like 15 episodes. He gave me like close to $100.
Yeah. And
then like another close to $100 to watch a few more movies. So it's like you got to keep in mind labor hours. That's a lot of time. So, but I'm more than willing to do it. It's just, you know, I can't do that shit for free. I got other stuff I got to do too. So, but other than that, I have no final words. Hatman?
I don't really have any final words either. We made it over the mountain.
Yes, we did. The blizzard is done. All right, folks. We do appreciate all of you, though. Absolutely. My name is Micah Curtis.
I'm Alex Baldwin, also known as the Hatman.
We'll see you guys next time. Deus Volt.
Deus Volt.